All right, show me the money. NFL picks for week 16 on the podcast. Come here, just 3 weeks left in the regular season. Join me today to make his annual appearance in this spot. And we've been saving him for late in the season because usually the Giants give him a lot to rant about at this point of the year. Justin Diaz back with us. Justin, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. It is an annual tradition at this point. And it's amazing the consistency at which the Giants deliver their end of the bargain of just being completely terrible and having no chance of the playoffs by week five at the latest.
Yeah, I mean, you think you were happy once when we did this?
Could say that again.
You might have been happy one time we did this.
Yeah, they made the playoffs once, Brian Daboll's first year. It turns out that was a complete fluke and mirage.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, like there was a lot going on Sunday. Like I was not on Giants Commanders whatsoever because I watched the Jets get run out. They went to red zone immediately. Like once they got down 14-0. Like how much of Giants Commanders did you check out?
Zero. And I had I had my sister's and niece's dance recital to go to, so I had a very good excuse. And I'm happy I had that excuse. But watching meaningless Giants football is just it's been the expectation now for so long. And as the years have passed, I've checked out more and more. I've cared less towards the end of the season. Like it's just what's the joy like in watching a meaningless game in week 14? I know that makes that probably there's some serious and I am a diehard Giants fan, but at this point, all we care about is just get everyone out healthy, get Jackson Dart out healthy. I think we know he's at least someone. I think he's going to be very good. I think a lot of Giants fans agree with that. I don't need to see more for him to prove himself further. I just want him to be healthy and, I'm not even going to say continue to develop because these last 3 weeks under Kafka and the fucking motley crew is just a pointless endeavor. So that's why typical all over the place ramble and rant.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, you agree. I think the only thing you would be watching at this point is Jackson Dart. I mean, I feel bad for the poor fans who had to go sit it there in like 15-degree weather on Sunday to watch that game because, like, I mean, yes, it was entertaining, but still, it's very bad football.
It's terrible. I mean, it's I being outside in that weather stinks when you have to do it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Going out there to sit there and watch a meaningless game, I don't find it entertaining. I mean, there's moments that are entertaining, but it's just such bad football. The Commanders also stink. You almost rather them play. Like if it was the Bills coming to town and Josh Allen, I'd be much more inclined and excited to watch that rather than two terrible teams duking it out.
Yeah, the end of the game with a combined 5 wins. Like,
It's so bad. It's more of the same. It's not surprising. I remember doing this podcast last year talking about whether or not they were going to keep Dayball and Shane. And I don't remember what I predicted because I think I thought it was like a 50-50 proposition. I was positive they should have fired both because oh, you know what it was? Maybe it was after Mara announced they were both returning, and Mara basically said, like, I'm not happy about what happened, and we need to win, and they better start winning. And we knew there was no, we looked at the schedule. I remember this now, and we said this is a 3 or 4 win season written all over it. Anybody could have predicted that. And now I think most people are in agreement that obviously Dayball had to go and Shane has to go. I am seeing some pushback to that saying, no, 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 there's some good pieces and they almost won all of these games. It's the same thing people were saying about Gettleman.
yeah.
Oh yeah, there's some pieces. If you are GM for 4 years and you're consistently picking highly, you will have some hits. It's impossible not to. Malik Neighbors is great. I give him credit for that. It looks like Jackson Dart is good. I give him credit for that, but it's the fourth season and they're 2-12 and
Yeah.
the roster stinks. We don't have a secondary. We don't have linebackers. We have one good offensive skill make player and he's hurt, but that injuries happen. It's not like we've been decimated by injuries to a unique degree. The
Well,
Giants stink.
I'd say two skills, good skills players. They're both hurt.
Say that again.
I'd say they have two good skills players, and both of them are
Oh,
hurt.
Cam Scatabo.
Yeah, I give Cam Scott like
Cam's good, but I think people got a little. I love Cam. He's a beast. I think people got a little bit carried away with it. Like he averaged 4 yards per carry. Like I mean, I know yards per carry isn't the end all be all. He's extremely exciting aesthetically and production wise. He's actually a very good receiver, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. He's not Jahmyr Gibbs. He's not Christian McCaffrey. Like if their calling card and their saving grace is Cam Scatabo coming back, like that's not going to be enough. Like he's a very good player. I am not diminishing Cam Scatabo, but he is a good running back that can help a good offense. He's not, and there's no running back that can save a bad offense. I've been saying that for years, and that's why I didn't care that we let Saquon go. But he's not in that class of Saquon, McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs. In my opinion, I think he could be good, if not very good, but people need to pump the brakes a little bit on that one. I don't know. What do you think, though? Maybe I'm being harsh.
No, I think that's a fair point. A couple of things I want to talk about here in terms of the situation with the Giants is number one, like I know you didn't watch most of the game, but Jackson Dart again got evaluated for concussion because like he
Yeah,
refuses to actually like take his own like well-being into account. He says, "This is how I play. This is the way I
sure.
am." And to a degree, fine. I get that that makes you exciting here, but when you are the guy for an NFL team, you have to realize you're not playing like SEC linebackers who are not going to make the pros every week. These are the best of the best, and they're going to come like kill you if you go on the field over and over and over again. And like you can't help the Giants. You're on the sideline getting evaluated for concussion every week because you're or getting yourself killed because you just refuse to slide down.
I know the Jackson Dart concussion discourse. That's a whole segment of Twitter now. It's that particular hit against the Commanders was not that bad of a hit, and I don't really blame that one was fluky, and I kind of agreed with Dart that the concussion protocol is a mess. Although there's no perfect solution to evaluating guys for concussions because, I mean, we know that from just years of seeing it play out. And even earlier this year, Dart, the one time he got a concussion was against the Bears and they missed it. And
Yeah.
he's been evaluated 5 times. So, all that to say, this is where people struggle in all of this discourse. Everyone's like, no, 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 he didn't need to be pulled out of this game. It's BS. That is true. It's also true that Dart needs to do a better job protecting himself. If you've watched him play, he takes so many unnecessary hits. And when I love him. Like
He,
his
he
ball
plays like he plays like a running back.
he plays like a running back. I admire his courage, his toughness, his competitiveness. But when he says like, "Oh, well, look at Josh Allen," Josh Allen outweighs you by 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, Josh Allen is built like a tight end. Like he's listed at 6'5", 240. He's probably closer to 270. Like he's massive and he doles out the hits. And sure, Josh Allen might one day pay for those hits. Cam Newton was also built like a tight end, and his career was completely derailed from injuries. But Jackson, we love you. We want you to succeed. Please take less hits. That hit that he took from the Patriots linebacker, where he was completely depleted, that also sparked a whole debate. He was in bounds.
Yeah.
Jackson was in bounds when he got hit. It was not illegal. It wasn't dirty either. That's football. And whether you want to say that should be allowed or shouldn't be allowed, it was objectively not a penalty, and that easily could have been avoided. Just get about, he was tiptoeing up the sideline. You can't do that,
Yeah.
not in the NFL.
Yeah, again, Jackson, you're not, and you're definitely not listening to this, but if you are, somehow
You might be.
this clip finds you somewhere here. Like, is the 3 extra yards you're gonna gain the toughness points to your teammates worth possibility, like you get seriously hurt and miss 4 games? Like, I don't think so.
No, absolutely not. I mean, a hit like that could literally derail your career. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, look at remember Drew Bledsoe. I think
Yeah.
everyone remembers that one. I mean, that was maybe the biggest hit anyone's ever seen. But I mean, shoulder injury, anything could happen. So Jackson, we love you. We love the swag, competitiveness. He's a baller. He makes things happen. I'm very excited about the future with him. But stay healthy, please. Go to bounds.
Yeah, go out of bounds. That's one thing. Number two, we still have this Joe Shane discourse going on here because Mara did not fire him when he fired Brian Dable. You seem to say Joe Shane has done good things. You said a little before, like, yes, you pick that high. Of course, you're gonna find good players occasionally, but the problem is they're still picking that high. And if the season were to end today, they pick number one, which is not what you want to be doing here. Year four, your GM, and I think the obvious thing in this year is they need to move on here and reset everything around Jackson Dart with a new GM and a new coach because I think having the quarterback there makes it a very enticing opportunity for both those spots. But I don't know what kind of coaches you're going to get in this position if like you have the GM basically hanging out here by a thread and thinking, okay, like What if John Mara fires him next year? And then am I going out the door with him when new GM comes in? You don't want to have that cycle going where they're mismatched.
100%. And there's a lot going on with the Giants as always because they're in constant turmoil and a lot of it's self-inflicted. But no, I agree. I mean, if the Giants are a very appealing job right now, if you just look at the roster and the opportunity ahead of them, and I know that's a paradox because I said Shane did a terrible job with the roster, but it looks like they have the quarterback, which is the hardest thing to do. They have a high pick. That's a very appealing job. However, we don't know what jobs are going to be open. I've been texting our friend Nick about this. A lot of people. I think the Ravens might fire Harbaugh. I don't think the Steelers that's the Steelers are clearly keeping Tomlin now. Bengals might move on. The Bills might move on. Like I know that people are going to say, "Wow, that's ridiculous. That's, it's a hot take." Sean McDermott's in year 9 and they haven't made the Super Bowl yet. I'm not saying it's his fault. He's a good coach, but there is a point where good coaches get fired if they don't get the team over the hump. So there could be multiple good openings. And if Shane stays, if one of the top candidates is deciding between, a stable organization like the Ravens, the Bills, I won't call the Bengals stable because they're a mess as well, but and the Giants, who, yes, they have Dart, yes, they have a high pick, but then they have a potentially lame duck GM, an owner who just clearly is incompetent. That could be the decision that sways a good candidate to another organization. And Shane doing, I'm sorry, I just have to get this out. I can't, anyone that said Shane did a good job, no. You did not do a good job if 4 years into your tenure, you had one mediocre fluke season, and then it's 6-11, 3-14, and now whatever the record is this year. That's insane. You stop. Every GM, every team in the league can say, I have good pieces. Yes, the Giants have the quarterback and they have a couple of good pieces. The roster stinks. And could Shane stay and maybe get them, like, make them better? Sure. It's not binary where he either does everything terrible or everything good. He's shown time and time again he will consistently miss in free agency. They spent so much money on Javon Holland and Adebo. They stink. No offense to those guys. They overpaid them massively. Massively. Darius Slayton, massive overpay. It's John Runyon, massive overpay. It's just so many misses. So now a huge offseason where you have the opportunity to finally build around a good quarterback. You really want that guy who's missed for 4 straight years to be the guy running the charge? Stop. It's a black and white situation. It's absolutely fire
Yeah,
him.
I will say the one game you probably will tune into the rest of the way, like not like we'll get to this week's game in a second. Week 17 against the Raiders, that game might turn who has the number one pick in the draft.
I agree, and the Raiders are so unbelievably bad that I think the Giants will win that game.
Even if
Unfortunately,
even though it's in Vegas.
yeah, I mean, Vegas isn't a real home field advantage. I don't think. Like,
Yep.
do Raiders fans come out and like, get riled up for the games?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I would imagine not. I mean, they're new there. They've stunk ever since they've been out there. I could be wrong, maybe because the Oakland fan base comes out there, but I don't know. I think the Giants will win that game, and the Giants have notoriously been the kings of winning meaningless games that hurt their draft stock. That's been the one of the few consistent wins every year that they get.
That's
Last
why
year,
that's why I'm shocked they didn't win last week because that's a spot they usually win.
100% against, and they usually have owned the Commanders. It's been the one NFC East team that they've consistently beat.
Yeah, it's true here. And then they have this week against the Vikings, which is interesting because JJ McCarthy is starting. They got the win over Dallas, and they probably knocked Dallas out of the playoffs officially. Although Dallas still has like the hit the exhaust port of the Death Star chance to get in. Philly loses out, they win out. But I do think here, like this game against the Vikings, nobody's gonna be in the building because it's gonna be the weather's slightly better, but nobody's going to watch teams that combine 7 wins play football here. Like the
Right.
Giants, I think this is a spot where like maybe Minnesota is, a little high on themselves and they are come out and JJ's a bad game. Like this is another one I think the Giants could win.
They could, because I still don't. I mean, whatever you think of JJ McCarthy, because he's another polarizing guy right now, he's clearly not consistent. So he could put out a stinker again, and then that puts the Giants in the game. Flores is a great defensive coordinator. I'm sure he's going to have some creative stuff dialed up. the Giants looked so bad last week. I mean, I watched highlights as I mentioned earlier. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know. It's hard to predict teams that have nothing to play for with a coach who has like obviously Kafka has no chance at the job. So it's just a weird, sad situation once again.
It is. And the crazy thing is here, if you look at the crop of like candidates out there, like unless some of these teams mentioned like Baltimore, like
Right.
Buffalo, like move on from their coaches, there's not a lot out there that's getting you fired up saying, yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, I agree. However, it predicting when a new coach is going to be good at their job is extremely difficult. Like Ben Johnson, everyone loved, and it looks like he's very good. Nobody thought Brian Schottenheimer was going to do a good job. And granted, the Cowboys are not great. I think he's done a pretty good job considering they went into the season with all this turmoil, as the Cowboys always do. The offense has looked elite, and the defense has been trash because they didn't invest the resources until the middle of the season and they got rid of their best player. But my point is, Schottenheimer, guy, no one thought he was a good coach. It looks like he could be. I don't know. You really never know. I mean, unless you hire Joe Judge, and it's obvious that he's going to be terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at it that way, but let's get to the picks, which is the reason why you're here. So, the Martino Puccio was here last week doing the picks. He did not have a great week, so I get the graphic up on the YouTube version. Mike Phillips on YouTube. You want to check that out? Computer's operating a little slowly today because there's so many different things going on in the background. But to reset, he did.
And of multitasking.
Yeah, yeah. Went 1-2 on the week. So to reset what he did here, he did bet your Giants. He thought they would come through and ruin their draft stock here. To lay the 2.5, they lost that game. He had the Rams laying the 6. They won that game against Detroit by a touchdown. Had the Panthers laying 2.5. The Schizo Panthers again laid an egg in a big spot for them. So 1-2 for Martino. On the other hand, I had another the second week in a row. I went 3-0.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. The 49ers laying 12.5. They kicked that field goal the last second and win by 13 and cover the number for me. Chargers plus 5.5. That number was too big. They upset KC outright, knocking them out of the playoffs. Texans laying a 9.5 against Arizona, ran away and hid. 3-0 on the year. Team challengers, an awful year for them so far, 15-30. I'm
Wow.
29-16 this year, which has been ridiculous. My
Holy
best
cow,
year for a
that's a
while.
fantastic. Sorry, I spoke over you.
Yeah.
That's an amazing record. This year has been, I find, to be the craziest, like hardest to gauge, like who's good and who's not year that I could remember.
Yeah. For me, I figure out who is bad very early. It's very easy to tell who the bad teams are. It takes a little bit, but I think I have a little bit of a pulse on who the good teams are to be betting on.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Figuring out who was bad was probably easier this year, but yeah, the good teams. I mean, I think I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like the AFC, for example, no Patrick Mahomes, no
Joe
Joe
Burrow.
Burrow.
Yeah.
Uh, Lamar might make it, but he looks extremely like a diminished version of himself. It does feel like so the like even like no one wants to believe in the Broncos, but I feel like the problem or the issue a lot of people are having is a lot of the great teams are relying on great defenses, like the Broncos, Seahawks, who
Patriots.
else? Patriots, um, the Rams, but I mean they have Stafford. I think it feels like more of a defensive year. I don't have data to back that up, but I don't know. What do you think about that?
Houston's in that bucket too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing you're keeping an eye on here with that situation is just, the whole thing with the thing here is like I think if you're an AFC backer, Buffalo, if they don't get the job done this year, something is wrong with Buffalo here because like this is their year to get through because they're the boogeyman's not there right now. You don't have, the Joe Burrow problem. You might have the Lamar problem. I know you might be on the road for 3 games, but like I would like Josh Allen's chance against most of these teams.
Yeah, I know, and I agree. Like it's set up perfectly for the Bills in terms of the rest of the conference, but they're just not that good. I mean, like I mean, their receivers have been kind of an issue for a little bit now, but now it's gotten to the point where I mean, Khalil Shakir is a nice player. Gabe Davis, I think they got back, but they don't
Yeah.
have a star receiver, and their defense is, I think, way worse than it's been in years past. So it's like they finally don't have to go through Patrick and probably not, or maybe not Lamar, but now their own house is messy and not nearly as good. So It'll be interesting. I do think the Bills are going to make it out of the AFC though, because I think Josh is just going to figure out a way to get it done.
Yeah, I'm gonna cash that. Gonna put a ticket on the Bills like probably after we get off the record, just get to the Super Bowl. So I think that's my next thing. We'll do the picks first here. As the guys, you can go first. We're going to pick one.
Sure. My first pick is going to be the Rams -1.5 at Seattle. Tricky game. Obviously, a lot at stake. Could potentially be for the division. I think the Rams are the best team in the league. Their defense is excellent. Stafford, for the most part, has been, well, not for the most part, he's been excellent all year. I think he had like one or two shaky games, but I think everyone in the league has it at this point. I think Nakua is going to play. I think they said Devontae Adams surprisingly might play, but I don't know, that's something to keep an eye on. I still don't trust Sam Darnold in a big spot. I know Darnold, your former hopes and dreams as the Jets guy. But yeah, I like Darnold. I think he's obviously at least a good starting quarterback at this point, but he's just let them down in so many big games, including the last time they played the Rams. So that's my first pick.
Yeah, I could understand the why I pick. Like the Ram injuries are scaring me off this game. So and it's on the road and on a short week. This is a stay away from me. I get why you want the Rams, but I just don't want any part of it.
That's fair. It was a tricky game, and I honestly this was a very hard week. I mean, I really struggled with these picks. Next one is Bills -10 at Cleveland. Josh Allen's on a roll again. Cleveland their defense actually is pretty good. I mean, they have an insane amount of talent on that side of the ball, but I don't know. Was very shaky last week. Um, that's one way we could go viral is just either severely criticize Shador or compliment him and say he's the next franchise QB because there's a lot of Shador discourse out there too.
Yeah, so interesting spot for that game too, with the Bills coming off the big win in the AFCs. They come from 20 nothing down. They have a game against the Eagles week 17, which is important here. I think they should win the game. I would worry about one, backdoor cover, and two, the look aheads factor where they kind of, like worry about that Eagle game a little bit too much and Cleveland hang around too long.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but it's every game is so big for the Bills. They're still going for the division, as
Yeah.
unlikely as it is. I think they're just going to kill them early on and just hold a big lead, and the Browns will be playing from behind.
All right, let's pick two. We're going to pick three.
Pick three, I'm taking the Lions at home -6.5 against the Steelers. Lions have been such a weird team this year. I still think they could be very good. They just need to get hot at the right time. I still don't really believe in the Steelers. I mean, they're going to do their annual 10-7 somehow, but I don't trust them in a big game. I think the Lions are just going to take care of business. They're on the outside of the playoffs right now, so they basically need to win.
Yeah, and I think this is the right time to be on the Lions. I don't know if you've seen close enough. They've basically alternated win loss since like week
Yeah.
5. So they lost last week. I think you feel like now is the time to get back. And the Steelers on a short week on the road. So it's a spot. I like that one.
Yeah, and when the Lions are hot, they're unbelievable. They've won some games. I think they beat the Bears 52-10 earlier this
Yeah.
year or something like that.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago they won 44-30 against the Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. And their offense is so explosive when they're clicking at home. So yeah, I think the Lions will win that game. Pretty
All
big.
right. So your picks are on the board. I'll start here now. Pick number one. I will go to first up. I'm going to go to I'm going to do the actually I'll go to the Chargers again, who are getting 2.5 points in Dallas for some bizarre reason. I don't understand the logic of this line by the bettors. It is maybe one of the sucker bet of the week here with the Chargers, but Dallas, there is a chance that Philly beats Washington on Saturday. They're eliminated before kickoff. I don't think they're going to try very hard in that spot. Chargers are still in contention for the AFC West. I know Herbert's banged up, but the Dallas defense stinks. They will run the ball like with ease here. And I'm getting a point where they win outright. I win the number. I'll take this and won't look twice. Give the Chargers here getting 2.5 in Dallas.
Yeah, no, excuse me, I have a cough. I'm sorry. Okay. No, I agree. Your logic makes sense. The Cowboys offense is just one of those elements that makes them so hard to predict because they could put up a huge number against any team. And the Chargers are also just another weird team, but I mean they have a lot more to play for than Dallas. So I totally understand the pick.
They just beat the Eagles and the Chiefs back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, although Herbert's playing with a broken hand, they can't block. It's such a weird situation, and they're clawing and like scratching and clawing their way to each win, but they're getting it done. So they should be able to beat the Cowboys.
All right, that's pick one. Pick two, I'll go to the Jets Saint game. I'm going to lay the 4.5 with New Orleans here. The Saints are playing very hard right now for Kellen Moore. They've won back-to-back games in the division against the two teams vying for the playoffs. They're trying very hard. The Jets, especially defensively, mailed it in the last few weeks. They have 34 of the Dolphins in the cold. They have 48 to the Jags. Got the defensive coordinator fired on Monday. So I don't think there's any real chance they show up for this game and try very hard. Four has a little dicey number wise, but Brady Cook going on the road here, not a fun spot either. I think the Saints are more motivated to play this game than the Jets are. I think they're going to show it at home. So I'll lay the 4.5 at the Saints here, pick two.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Shuck is apparently playing pretty well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree with that pick. The Jets stink, and anytime you can bet against them, that's you're in for it's a good bet.
All right, that's pick two. Pick three. We go to Sunday Night Football. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with the Ravens against New England. In the game, it was flexed in for Bengals Dolphins, and thank goodness we got that game because Bengals Dolphins both are done at this point. The
Yep.
Ravens get the big win last week. They are now stabilized at 7-7. They know that as long as they hang within a game of the Steelers, they can win the division by winning Week 18. New England, I think they're a good team, but I think they are a little bit paper tighter because they played the easiest schedule known to man because they faced the last year, and they've got a lucky division draw. Blowing that 21-0 lead to Buffalo, I think might linger for a week. And I think it might hang around. I think the Baltimore is more desperate than they are. I think they'd get the job done here. I'm laying less than a field goal. I'll lay a 2.5 with the Ravens here to wrap up the week.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that pick, and the Patriots are. I feel like every team is hard to peg this year, so I keep saying this team's hard to predict. But the Patriots, yeah, I agree, paper tiger a little bit. Drake May is incredible, so they're going to be set for a while. But Ravens also have been just having like Lamar is not himself, and it's really sad to see. So but I agree. I think the Ravens will win that game.
All right. So to reset the picks for the week, Justin is going with the Lions laying 6.5 against the Steelers. The Rams going on the road, Seattle laying 1.5 on Thursday. The Bills laying 10 in Cleveland against the Browns. My picks: Saints laying 4.5 against the Jets. The Chargers getting points in Dallas for some strange reason against the potentially eliminated Cowboys. And the Ravens laying 2.5 on Sunday night against the Patriots. Those are your picks for week 16 here on the podcast. And coming up next week, the great Ian Sachs makes return to the podcast. He's a big Patriots guy, so we'll get some Patriots talk here off that Raven game ahead. They go to MetLife on the Sunday after Christmas play the Jets and probably wrap the division up over there.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe the Jets will surprise them and show up big for the post-Christmas game.
Yeah, I see no world where the Jets are trying very hard that game.
Probably not, but you never know. Late game seasons get weird.
They do get weird here. And Justin, thanks for all the time. I really appreciate it. People want to follow you on social media, keep up with some of your stuff. How can I do that?
Yeah, I'm at JD Comedy on Instagram. So thanks for that shout out, Mike.
No problem. I'm sure you're glad we got done pretty quick, so you can go watch that NBA Cup Finals night between the Knicks and the Thunder and the
Yeah,
Spurs.
yeah, the meaningful NBA Cup. This will actually, if we win this, we don't even need to win the NBA title. This will be just as meaningful.
You put the banner up.
Yeah, exactly. This breaks the drought. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about it. But I'm a huge Knicks fan, so I'll watch. But it's silly. It really does feel like I'm watching an exhibition. It doesn't count for the stats, doesn't count for the standings. Just don't get no, knock on wood, nobody get hurt, please.
Yeah, it's that's something I don't get here. It's like the standings thing is weird because obviously I get they have to do it. They're trying to squeeze a fake tournament into the middle of the schedules to try and make people care before Christmas about the NBA.
Right.
So that's one thing. But like I would tell me like it's a weird thing because like for example, like I know this would never happen, but like imagine for instance, like Jalen Brunson scores 75 points tonight for the Knicks.
Yep.
That game doesn't count in the history books.
I know. It's just like, yeah, an exhibition game. Well, they got their bonuses though. Like, I'm happy that they get a bonus if they win, but like, I feel like they're pushing this narrative to make us care more. Like, they keep asking the players, what are you going to buy if you get the bonus? Like, cool. Like, good for you. I'm happy for you. But that's not, now I'm not more inclined to be excited about it because what they're going to buy with their bonus.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a difference to the guys in the bottom of the rotation who don't make any money. Like for some of those guys on the rookie contracts, like that's like half their salary comes from like winning the NBA Cup. Like that, I get why they're excited to help the guys on the bottom of the roster, but like for the guys making $35 million, I don't care if they spend an extra $500,000 on.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't yeah, exactly. Just it's a cash grab by the NBA and whatever. They got to do what they got to do, but don't like I also keep seeing writers and social media guys who cover the sport saying, "No, no, people really care." Nope. Nobody cares who wins the NBA Cup. It's an obvious lie. Sure, we care in the sense of we'll watch because we want to be entertained if you're an NBA fan, but not a single Knicks fan will feel anything if that, oh yeah, we won the NBA Cup. This season's now validated. No, it means
yeah.
nothing.
And not for nothing. My wrong is, but wasn't the stadium in Vegas like half full for those semifinal games on Saturday?
I don't know actually. I wouldn't be surprised because I don't know anybody that would go out of their way for the NBA Cup.
Yeah, so try to figure out like what got more play in the Vegas area market, the Players Era Festival a few weeks ago for college or this.
Yeah, probably that. Probably the player. What was it? The Players Era Festival? I don't even know, but I wasn't aware of that.
That's like an 18 team like NIL events basically on Thanksgiving week where they bring a bunch of programs and pay them a lot of money to show up and play for some sort of Fugazi tournament, which is I think worse run than the NBA Cup.
Yeah, Vegas is such an inconvenient place for so many people to get to. It's just all ridiculous. But you know, good for the NBA for doing what it can to expand the fan base. But it's not something anyone will ever truly care about.
Yeah, for sure. Justin, thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on. Thanks, Mike.